The wind whisked the grass, the eerie rustle cutting the silence. It also blew the smoke all the way from the big house to the stables. She crouched all the lower, trying to hold her breath, listening for his footsteps, his favorite tune to whistle, anything. A horse neighed not far away. She jumped, nearly falling to the ground, but managed to catch herself. It was hard to balance with the long skirt, not to mention with her newly expanded belly, a feature she had been trying to hide, needed to hide. It wouldn't be possible much longer. Not that it mattered. He knew. Somehow Jedediah had figured it out, despite her efforts to keep the secret. Crash! She tensed and pressed herself into the little corner where she hid, tried to meld with the wall. It would be the only way to remain concealed. Once Jed found her, her life would be over. He'd already warned her to stay away from the love of her life. The only thing he cared about was keeping the family name. It was all that mattered to any of the Brannon men. Some of the women, too. Not her. She only wanted the freedom to live her life as she saw fit, to love who she wanted and make her own decisions. And she had, for a brief moment. She loved gloriously and totally. Unfortunately, that decision would get either her or the one she loved killed. She'd come to the stables to find him, to warn him. But Jed was, as always, one step ahead of her. He thought he had more authority over her than Papa did. Because he cared more about controlling others than falling in love, he focused on her, on making her life miserable at every turn. Now he knew the one thing that could destroy her. Her breathing grew shakier. Jed would find her in here. She'd come to warn the love of her life. She didn't even dare to think his name. Jed seemed to have the powers to read her very thoughts. Clink! That was closer. Too close for comfort. She nearly cried out, barely managed to cover her mouth to keep the sound from escaping.
I know you're in here.
Jed's voice wasn't far away. His heavy footsteps grew louder. If he found her, he would beat her hard enough to rid her of her condition. Then he'd kill the one she loved. She needed to get away before she lost everything, including her own life and the one she carried inside her.
Thump, thump, thump.
There was only one other way out of the stable, since Jed was coming from the main entrance. It was a risk, but it was also the only chance she had.